An unexamined life is not worth living. Socrates. Socrates' assertion that an unexamined life is not worth living champions the pursuit of self-awareness and wisdom. This philosophical cornerstone suggests that life gains value through introspection and the quest for moral and intellectual development. It's not merely a call to question life superficially, but to scrutinize our motives, beliefs, and actions critically. Such examination is the bedrock of personal growth and societal progress. It challenges the status quo and compels individuals to live authentically and responsibly. By reflecting on our choices and their impacts, we can steer our lives towards more meaningful and ethical paths. Socrates' wisdom implores us to live deliberately, ensuring our life narratives bear the hallmarks of depth and purpose. Thus, the unexamined life, lacking scrutiny and intention, falls short of its potential richness, denying the individual and community the benefits of fully realized human experience. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. Socrates. Socrates' statement, "The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing," is a paradox that speaks to the heart of philosophical inquiry and humility. It underscores the vastness of the unknown and the limitations of human understanding. Acknowledging one's ignorance is the first step towards the pursuit of knowledge. This recognition opens the mind to continuous learning and critical questioning, preventing the stagnation that comes with the illusion of complete knowledge. It is a call to intellectual humility, reminding us that certainty can often be an obstacle to growth. By embracing the extent of our not knowing, we remain curious and receptive, which is the cornerstone of wisdom. This philosophy encourages a life of constant exploration and discovery, where the journey of learning is valued more than the destination of presumed knowledge.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more valuable quotes from the legends.
I know that I am intelligent because I know that I know nothing. Socrates. Socrates' declaration, "I know that I am intelligent because I know that I know nothing," highlights the paradox that true intelligence is rooted in the recognition of one's own ignorance. It's a statement of intellectual humility. The wise person is aware of their limitations and the boundless scope of what they have yet to learn. This self-awareness is the hallmark of intelligent inquiry, as it drives the quest for deeper understanding and guards against complacency. The statement also implies that wisdom isn't about accumulating facts, but about the critical examination of what we believe we know. It's an awareness that knowledge is dynamic and that our current understanding is merely provisional. Socrates positions this knowing of one's ignorance not as a defeat, but as a triumph of reason and self-reflection. It's a powerful reminder that the wisest among us are those who remain questioners and learners throughout life. The secret of change is to focus all of your energy, not on fighting the old, but on building the new. Socrates. Socrates' insight on change is a strategic guide to personal and societal transformation. He suggests that the essence of effective change lies in channeling energy towards creation rather than resistance. By focusing on building the new, we proactively shape the future instead of being ensnared by the inertia of the past. This principle applies to habits, thoughts, relationships, and even broader social structures. The quote implies that progress is not achieved by merely opposing what is outdated or unhelpful, but by nurturing and investing in what is innovative and constructive. It's about diverting resources from conflict and towards creation, which requires vision, planning, and dedication. This approach fosters positive momentum and can be more inspiring and less draining than a stance rooted in opposition. In essence, Socrates teaches that the blueprint for change is not found in the battleground of the old, but in the fertile ground of the new, where possibilities are limitless and energies are best spent. He who is not a good servant will not be a good master. Socrates' observation, "He who is not a good servant will not be a good master," reflects a timeless principle of leadership and service. The essence of this statement lies in the understanding that mastery of leadership comes from the humility and empathy developed through serving others. It suggests that those who have not experienced subservience or the obligation to follow are often ill-equipped to guide and command with the necessary compassion and understanding. This concept resonates across various contexts, emphasizing that the skills, patience, and perspective gained from being a servant are critical to effective leadership. It implies that a good leader should first understand the perspective of those they lead, which includes experiencing their challenges and needs. This experiential wisdom breeds respect for one's subordinates and informs a more benevolent and effective leadership style. In modern terms, it aligns with the idea that the best leaders are those who have worked their way up, learning at every level and carrying those lessons into their leadership roles. To find yourself, think for yourself. Socrates' admonition, "To find yourself, think for yourself," is a call to intellectual independence and self-discovery. It suggests that true understanding of one's identity and values cannot be inherited or passively accepted from external sources, but must be forged through personal reasoning and critical thought. The statement champions the idea of self-reflection as a means to authenticity. By thinking for oneself, an individual actively engages with ideas, challenges preconceptions, and ultimately carves out a unique personal philosophy. This process is integral to developing a sense of self that is not merely an echo of societal norms or the influence of authority figures. Socrates implies that self-knowledge is a personal conquest that requires questioning, doubting, and ultimately trusting one's own judgment. It is a declaration that individuality is born from the courage to question and the effort to understand, not from the comfort of consensus. This principle remains a foundational concept in the pursuit of personal enlightenment and autonomy. The greatest way to live with honor in this world is to be what we pretend to be. Socrates' assertion, "The greatest way to live with honor in this world is to be what we pretend to be," emphasizes the importance of authenticity and integrity. The statement suggests that one should not merely project an image of virtue or competence, but should strive to embody these qualities genuinely. It is a call to align our outward expressions and inward intentions to ensure that our public persona is not just a facade, but a true reflection of our inner selves. This principle speaks to the concept of walking the talk, implying that honor is found in the congruence between one's words and actions. It challenges individuals to examine whether they live up to the ideals they profess and to close any gap between pretense and reality. Honor, therefore, is not derived from the mere appearance of goodness or success, but from the earnest effort to cultivate these attributes within ourselves. Living authentically in this way earns respect and trust from others, as it demonstrates a commitment to personal standards and ethical consistency. Socrates' insight remains a powerful reminder that the pursuit of honor is an inward journey before it can ever be an outward triumph. The heaviest penalty for declining to rule is to be ruled by someone inferior to yourself. Socrates' statement, "The heaviest penalty for declining to rule is to be ruled by someone inferior to yourself," is a profound observation on the nature of civic duty and leadership. He posits that those who are capable of contributing to the governance of their society, but choose to abstain from doing so, ultimately suffer the consequence of being governed by less qualified individuals. The underlying message is one of responsibility. Socrates urges the wise and capable to participate in leadership to ensure that society is guided by the most competent hands. This is not only a service to society, but also a protective measure for oneself. His words are a call to action for those with the ability to lead or influence to step forward, rather than leaving the fate of the community to chance or to those who may lack the necessary skills or virtue. This principle resonates in many aspects of modern life, from political engagement to taking a stand in one's community or workplace. Socrates emphasizes that the cost of inaction can be significant and that there is a moral imperative to engage in leadership, especially when one has the capability to make a positive difference. The unexamined life is not worth living for a human being. Socrates' declaration, "The unexamined life is not worth living for a human being," speaks to the intrinsic value of self-awareness and philosophical inquiry. At its core, this statement asserts that the essence of a life well lived is found in the pursuit of understanding oneself and the world around us. The examination Socrates refers to as a rigorous, ongoing process of questioning one's own beliefs, values, and actions. It involves a critical and often uncomfortable scrutiny of one's life choices and motivations, leading to greater self-knowledge and wisdom. For Socrates, such introspection was not a luxury, but a necessity for a meaningful human existence. This philosophical stance elevates the act of living from a mere biological survival to a reflective journey aimed at achieving a deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment. It implies that without this reflective dimension, life misses out on its fullest potential, reducing its worth. Socrates' idea continues to challenge us to live deliberately, with an understanding that self-reflection is the path to a richer and more profound human experience. The only true freedom comes from knowledge. Socrates. The aphorism, "The only true freedom comes from knowledge," attributed to Socrates, encapsulates the belief that personal liberty is deeply intertwined with understanding and wisdom. Knowledge, in this context, is more than just the accumulation of facts. It's a comprehensive awareness that encompasses self-understanding, awareness of one's environment, and the discernment of truth from falsehood. Socrates suggests that without knowledge, individuals are susceptible to manipulation, enslavement to their passions, and the dominance of external forces. True freedom, therefore, is not just a physical or political condition, but also a psychological and intellectual state where one is not hindered by ignorance. This statement champions the empowering effect of education and critical thinking. It implies that to act freely, one must first understand the nature of their actions and the world they navigate. Knowledge equips individuals with the ability to make informed choices, fostering autonomy and resilience against the tyranny of unexamined customs, beliefs, and impulses. Socrates' vision of freedom is an internal liberation that precedes and fortifies external liberties. The first step to wisdom is admitting your own ignorance. Socrates' insight, "The first step to wisdom is admitting your own ignorance," underlines a fundamental principle in the pursuit of knowledge, the recognition of one's limitations. This admission is not a sign of weakness, but the starting point for genuine intellectual growth. It is an acknowledgement that no matter how much one knows, there is always more to learn. This humility is the cornerstone of the Socratic method, which involves questioning to reveal the extent of one's ignorance and then systematically eliminating it through further inquiry and learning. By admitting ignorance, one opens the door to questioning, which is the pathway to deeper understanding. Socrates elevates this self-awareness to the status of the first step in acquiring wisdom because it catalyzes the curiosity and learning that lead to enlightenment. It's a call to embrace a mindset of lifelong learning, where the quest for understanding is driven by the constant awareness that knowledge is infinite and our grasp of it ever-evolving. The harder you work for something, the greater you'll feel when you achieve it. Socrates. The quote, "The harder you work for something, the greater you'll feel when you achieve it," is not one that can be directly attributed to Socrates based on historical records up to my last update in April 2023. This sentiment, however, is consistent with many philosophical teachings that emphasize the value of effort and the satisfaction derived from achieving goals through hard work. Socrates, in his dialogues as recorded by Plato, often stressed the importance of virtue and the pursuit of excellence, or arete. While he might not have said this exact line, the underlying concept, that effort and struggle in pursuit of a worthy goal can lead to a greater sense of fulfillment, is in line with the general principles found in classical philosophy. The idea reflects a common human experience. The satisfaction and pride felt after accomplishing something challenging are often proportional to the effort and perseverance invested. This sense of reward following rigorous endeavor is a powerful motivator and is frequently a theme in discussions about personal growth, resilience, and achievement.